I stumbled through the back door, heading into one of the side rooms and awkwardly placed Benson on something more comfortable. He's just so small. He's just a little guy. But even Dave can carry him around. Thanatos? But he wasn't there. He disappeared at some point, and I thought back to what he'd just done. Was the key to Benson's room really all that vital? Had he known it was there all along?
Are you alright?
I don't know. But Benson's out like a light.
What happened?
Dom said we have 2 days before he'll be back. Then after we left, Benson just, well, passed out. Hasn't been sleeping enough.
But he's sleeping now, right?
Sal came over and checked on Benson, nodding slowly to himself.
He's out cold, but he's breathing, so that's something.
But 2 days... Oh.
But 2 days? What are we meant to do with 2 days?
Seeing what you guys do with an hour, which is nothing, so I've got terrible news. I really don't know.
No one else seems to know if that's any comfort.
Of course it's not, Sal. We're all gonna die. So we need someone to know very badly.
Worst case scenario, we at least have a bunch of guns somewhere, right?
Not that we have access to them anymore.
What do you mean?
Thanatos broke the key to where the guns are. Or Benson's room, or... All he did was call it an armory, but what else could he have meant?
I didn't think we need to actually use the sword upstairs.
Then why did you all go on that plan in the first place?
But a sword, it's not going to be enough, is it?
In 2 days, Thanatos' plan is to give Benson over to Dom so we can escape. Beyond that, I don't know.
2 days.
I don't understand.
Sandwiches.
I don't understand why giving him Benson in any way improves their chances of escape.
I don't know.
2 days until things go bad again.
Do we know for certain it's 2 days?
According to Thanatos, yeah.
We should leave Benson to rest and go talk with the others. We all need to be on the same page.
We filed into the foyer where everyone was lingering around. Everyone was still dazed, it seemed like. Not that I could blame them. I'm so sorry, everyone. I didn't want... I never thought that... You didn't send them, did you? Of course not. And stop. It's not your fault. Guys, Dom just left. Kinda. Yeah, we watched him leave. That's not all. Thanatos gave us a couple more days before he'll be back. Till Dad arrives? No, Dom will be back. After that, I don't know. When you say a couple days, really only have 2? Yeah, 2 days until whatever happens next. I wish that the last conversation opened with, let's meet up with the others, we need to get on the same page, and then the conversation happened, instead of it happening twice now. Where's Benson now? Asleep. He passed out soon after Dom left from exhaustion. He's resting in a side room for the time being. You didn't put him in a bed? His own was out of the question, given, well, Thanatos broke the key to his room. Now, why'd he go and do that? He didn't like the idea of us having access to guns. What? Wait, we can't get in without that key? That's the impression I got from Thanatos, at least. And why the fuck are we... What the fuck were we meant to do about weapons? That sword upstairs isn't even sharp, it's worthless. I don't understand swords. Should I have knives in the kitchen? Do we have nothing? You have the gun that's on Benson right now. You just put Benson to sleep with a gun on his person, which is kind of a rough position, actually.
Weapons are only one problem. Food is the other.
Oh my god.
He says as he has a bunch of snacks and chips, empty chip bags in his hands that he's carrying back from the fucking room.
Both the snack thing, but also I'm like, please, game, don't keep repeating this conversation unless it's going to... Like, I don't want to hear this topic again unless either A, people have literally begun to starve and it's a plot development, or B, they're actually taking action about the food right now. Like, otherwise you're just repeating the same conversation infinitely, and I'm like, okay, we get it. We know this part.
How bad is the food situation anyway?
For the short term, we have enough. Not enough for 3 square meals given the amount of people we have, but we've hardly been doing that anyway.
I'm amused that the characters have perfectly sorted them into your characters and my characters.
I notice you said short term.
Sadly, yes. After we ran the numbers, we can safely have food at our normal rate of consumption for another week or so. Longer if we start rationing immediately.
Didn't they say they had enough food to like last the winter? It was like a fully stocked pantry. What is their normal consumption rate?
Yeah,
because that's fucking absurd.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they said the winter specifically, but presumably it was stocked for this trip, which I guess another week or so would include.
Someone lives here.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is like this is a house that is stocked, and then when they went in the kitchen on like the first day, they were like, "There's so much food. We don't need to worry about this at all." So them being like, "We only have enough rations for a week," is like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? Do you have any? I don't know.
So many tens of thousands of words ago that I can't make a specific claim about what they said the first time they walked in the fridge.
Sure. I don't know. I feel like there would need to be some real wild serendipity for a bunch of food, for there to only be exactly 1 month's 30 days worth of food in a house that was stocked, presumably for someone to live in it, and also have a staff that lives in it, but also on account of, hey, a bunch of teens are gonna stay here for 30 days, just randomly as a thing. That seems a little
I assume
sus.
that Benson used to organize or even go get like food deliveries before the road was out, because this place has to function in some way. But I don't know if I don't think the food logistics of all things have ever been fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
And after that,
We have foraging as an option, assuming we're able.
we've both said this before, and we've specified that Dave can that Dean can do it. I don't think it'll come to that. Probably anyway. After all, 2 days until we might be escaping anyway.
That's assuming everything goes well.
I'm begging for them to talk about anything new. Just please talk about something else.
And assuming we don't get duped, Dom isn't so bad, or wasn't all that bad, or... Well, it's hard to say exactly how good he is, but compared to Jack, he's a saint.
You've
A
never
lot to
met-
say about someone who said that he was going to put a bullet in your pretty face.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say when one, he was like, yeah, I'll just shoot you if I need to. I don't really care.
He was a nice guy
well,
when I was a
also-
literal child. Anyway, he did just tell me he was going to shoot me, but it's totally fine.
Yeah, he was nice to a kid once. Also, I've never met Jack.
Yeah.
Should specify that. No one here has met Jack besides Dave, so like what the fuck are you talking about? Unless I guess Jack was also on the film set, because they talked about potentially recruiting Jack around the time that he recruited Dom, which makes me wonder who the fuck works for Memphis outside of that before that film set happened. But then, what? Were you a kid that was just aware there was just like some kind of psycho just on your film set for some reason? Was Jack still being a psycho in that context? Like, I don't know if to make of that line exactly. And then there's Memphis. Without having met Jack, it's hard to know how he compares to Dad, but Dad's horrible.
That I can agree with.
How bad are we talking?
Considering Jack chased you through the forest and waited until you were almost back before making his move, we have a potential baseline.
Here's thinking he was originally going to be arriving tomorrow. Speaking of, what's the plan? Are you staying or leaving? What do you mean? Well, there's the mob, right? They show up tomorrow with guns. What are we doing? I wonder why... I feel like this hasn't been accounted for, but everything's been offset by one day. Because when we were going into this session, I pointed out that we are on the day current... Well... I was going to say that we're on the day the story ended in, but we're just on the day where my last save was, so I actually don't remember if it hit day 22 or not. Never mind.
We are assuming they won't keep their word.
Thanatos is lying? Rather take that chance? I sure as hell don't want to risk it. I looked across to Roswell and he was scratching his chin as if weighing things up.
No, you're right. It's not worth the risk. We should escape.
Really?
I don't mean now, but I believe escaping when the opportunity arises is the best course of action.
The fuck do you mean when the opportunity arises? We leave now. Hi? We could have fucking left days ago and avoided all this. We could have just up and left from the main road and gotten help, but we didn't. I watched Ty work himself up, knowing why we couldn't have just left. So we go now, right? Go get help and we're good.
I'm sorry, but that's not an option.
And why the fuck not?
For starters, we'd be condemning Benson to the mercy of whatever happens while he's unconscious. If they show up tomorrow or in a few hours, the worst case scenario, defenseless, and it'd be our fault. It'd be our fault he dies.
Our vault,
Polish,
he dies.
baby.
That's funny. This is a glaring mistake in the writing. I don't mean the vault. It's the fact that they're all gonna stay here and die because they feel guilty about what'll happen to Benson if they leave him. But the other timeline is Roswell and this group of people minus Tyson abandoning Benson to die. Like they also put in no effort to find Benson, and it's not explained why they left Benson behind. Really, there's a vague line with Hoth saying like Benson's been really withdrawn lately, and that's like the last thought they have about him. And then he dies horribly, so badly that he's been like exploded via gore all over the room. He got the fucking bloody mess perk on him. And so like that being the alternate timeline of what happens approximately now in the story means that this entire argument doesn't really work because of the same characters in the same part of the timeline basically. It just doesn't, it just is wild. Also, I don't know, man, fucking carry him. He's a little otter boy. If Dave carried him indoors and Dave's useless, then the giant men can carry Benson. We'll figure it out. Tyson huffed, but stayed quiet while Roswell continued.
From there, we have to consider who can cross the hole in the road. Chances are I'd be left behind. There's every chance Orlando and Dave would be due.
Is that what they meant before when they said that not all of us can leave? They're just sincerely not considering the possibility that there's more ways off a mountain than the one road. Mentioning me seemed to be the trick to topple Tyson, and he backed down. I could see he was frustrated, but I knew he didn't want to risk leaving me behind. You still think we should escape?
I do.
How are we going to manage that, then?
Remember, Dom said there's another way off the mountain. If they're keen on leaving after they have what they want, chances are that way off should be functional.
But that's assuming we know where it is, which we don't. The moment the words left my mouth, I furrowed my brow. Was this what Thanatos was getting at? Unless that's what Thanatos was getting at, trading someone off as collateral. I'm sorry, what? When we were outside before Dom left, Thanatos said that in 2 days he can come back and take someone as collateral.
Were any names given?
No, just that there's collateral.
I volunteer.
Volunteer is tribute. Thanatos said that you can't, or that he's already got someone in mind to offer up.
Then who?
I can't say I'm very keen on believing anything that rat is saying if he's already bartering with our lives.
See, so that's like, I actually think that's kind of a weird thing to say, because the fact that Thanatos is bartering with your lives kind of directly implies to me that he has a stronger sense of what is going on and the stakes, and is just making, because it seems he's literally meddling at this point. Seems like he's like making pretty calculated decisions. So believing what he has to say seems like a pretty likely thing. It doesn't mean you have to like it, but it sure does seem valuable to believe.
It's noticeable that like in this time at this point he's like, it's not like he's like promising good news, which would be the thing that he'd be more inclined to not trust, I think. Like the fact that he's like like the fact that it's just bad outcomes and bad news and so on. It's like, I don't trust this guy. Seems too good to be true that he's promising horrible things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
Whereas like, in a way, I kind of liked that the other route was a little bit of like a gotcha in that everybody was just. I mean, it's a little hard to contrast this because everybody always has no agency and just refuses it at all times and never does anything. But by the end of Route F, they were explicitly just like, time travel, rat, just tell us what to do. What do we do? We'll do exactly what you say we'll do. And like, oh, it'll be safe tomorrow. Is it safe the next day? That's the day we leave. Okay, like getting like instructions on when to leave from him and so on. So the fact that it all led to them all just exploding because they listened to time travel rat was deeply funny, because they were just like, they were all so desperate to relinquish any agency they had to him. But it's like, I lost the thread a little bit.
I think the game has two, so it's okay. You have no one can blame you.
The implication was that it'd be Benson. That was not an implication. It was the stated thing. Implication means something other than explicit.
Benson? But why him? Isn't he better used, I don't know, keeping everyone else alive?
I don't know. With him being unconscious and more than likely to fight Memphis, maybe that's the opening he'd expect to give us? What a strange contrast of a sentence. Like, I wonder how good of a plan he thinks it is when he says these words out loud. Benson's unconscious and more likely to fight Memphis. The perfect plan. Like, I guess that like the rat's plan is that if he's unconscious, we can barter him off as a as collateral without him actually having a say in it. And then when he wakes up, he'll fight. But potentially, if he can escape, even though he's probably like handcuffed or some shit. But it's like, it's just on the face of it. Like, I know. Well, he's our one chance. We'll have him unwillingly be captured while unconscious. He'll be in perfect fighting shape. That's the plan. With him currently out like a light, there isn't really anything we can do to run it by him. Roswell?
What?
Thanatos said that he still has something in mind for you. And it didn't sound good.
Well, that's reassuring.
He's going to be lying, right? Trying to scare us? Long past the time for trying to scare us when we have the mob shaking us down. Tyson's comment got a few murmurs, but nothing committed as far as a response. So what was it? 2 days until we have to go through this again? The rat can be believed. Let's just keep repeating these things.
I don't think there's a reason to doubt him. He's just very much been playing some sort of game. To that end, trying to jeopardize our lives is counterproductive.
So 2 days? Sandwiches! Sandwiches!
So many sandwiches.
Sandwiches!
I'm just so frustrated.
2 days! 2 days!
2 weeks. Roswell shook his head.
"2 days until Benson gets offered to Memphis, and we make our move to escape. 2 days to figure out where their path off the mountain is, and take it, getting clear off the mountain."
But what about Benson?
We can't do anything while he's unconscious, but if we have to offer someone up, and it can't be me.
Statement hung in the air, and I could see the varying levels of discomfort it left. I'm gonna check on him. Did anyone want to come with? The fact that they hint so heavily at sacrificing Roswell all the time, but then keep just not actually following through with that, with how this game generally handles its heavy-handed writing and whatnot, I'm like, okay, so Route A is sacrificing Roswell, right? Like in the timeline where Oz and Benson are both here, and we're not just completely on our own the moment Benson's unconscious. Like, they sacrifice Roswell, don't they? Because like they keep talking about it. It seems like, and it increasingly seems like it'll just never happen in the entirety of Route B. I wandered back to where I'd left him and noticed Sal and Haas following behind. When we got to the room, Benson was right where we left him. Sorry, it's just the repeating. And in addition to someone else. Thanatos.
What are you doing?
Checking on the otter. What are you three doing?
The same.
Did you really cut a deal with Dom to hand over Benson? I swear to God, if Haas like gets
just repeats the whole
attached to
conversation.
Benson, and is just like puts up a fight over this while also just repeating every single thing that we have learned from the conversations, I'm going to lose my mind. The Tide Pod in my laundry room is looking very, very delectable right now.
So what if I did?
And you're planning on something else for Roswell.
Now, Dave, I didn't think you'd go telling them so soon.
I don't know what we should be doing now.
No shit, Dave, you've never had a thought in your head your whole life. Like, what the hell? Of course you don't know what's going on. You haven't been.
I got you 2 days. Do whatever you'd like.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What is your expected end game? And with Benson out of the picture, in your plan, what happens to us?
For you to escape, obviously.
May I ask why?
You think I want you lot dead?
You did try killing Tyson.
That's different. Did he actually try to kill Tyson?
I think just in that he tried to cause the werewolf route, which they
Gotcha.
understand as that because they don't know exactly what happened in the werewolf route.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. How exactly is that different? You're doing it again with Benson, aren't you? Not exactly the same thing, is it?
You were driving Tyson mad over a couple of days and been doing the same for Benson for almost a week now?
That doesn't sound like someone that wants us alive, that's for...
Things change. What things? You expect some long-winded monologue about what I'm up to and how that furthers whatever plan it is I have going on.
That would be lovely, actually.
Lay it on us. Lay on me, Thanatos. Just lay right down on top of me, please. I'm right here, ready to be laid on.
I will barely notice your presence. You are very small.
I wasn't being serious.
Maybe you should be. Did you want us to trust you or not?
Like that matters to me.
Well, it's hard to really know how much of this is all something that you've been through before and you're just going to through the motions again. But if we just stop playing, then what?
What do you mean?
The
Dave,
absurdity
you're
of
not
this
suggesting
statement.
we just... Dave, you're not suggesting we just stop doing anything and await our demise, do you?
The idea of that actually seems like something that Dave would absolutely suggest. He's allergic to literally making any
It's what they've all been doing. It's what they've been doing the whole time. It's just sitting around awaiting their demise. I'm pretty sure I double checked, and in fact, yes, Jack happened 8 days ago. It was day 13. It was so long. It was so early in the timeline, and they've just been sitting around.
It hurts. It hurts, Ness.
I wish that line made sense. I wish they'd been up to shit and rattling the cage and trying to figure out how to get out of the situation this whole time, but they actively have avoided engaging with the plot.
He couldn't possibly be serious.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But if we just stop doing anything, then Thanatos is forced to act instead, right?
Dave, you are just so dumb. Like I have never met someone as dumb as Dave. I mean, it's true. I should be happy about that, actually. I should feel very blessed that I have never met anyone as dumb as Dave.
I think that there is a reasonable approach to the idea of calling Thanatos' bluff and threatening to refuse to play his game, essentially. But threatening to stop doing stuff when you've never done anything is an insane comment.
Well,
I don't think that's a smart idea.
you would be right, buddy. Neither. But Thanatos hasn't stopped staring at you since you suggested it, Dave.
I looked back to Thanatos and he was just staring at staring as Haas said. What?
That's the game you're willing to play.
Not giving us much in the way of options. Threatening Benson, hinting at something bad for Roswell. Now 2 days to do something before who knows what happens next.
I assume Thanatos knows what happened next. Well, do you? Maybe.
That's a yes.
Oi. You don't know what I do and don't know. For all you know, I'm going through this the first time.
First time myself. Didn't come through. Except when you said that we needed... Except when you said that we needed to, and that's how it needed to be. And also explained that people could have died.
Fine, you got me. I know how this is going to go down.
And?
Last time it didn't go so great, so I'm in the middle of tweaking things here and there.
I don't understand. This is actually like a mechanics thing, like a quantum mechanics thing. The way that they have set up this situation is that Thanatos being the vault is in a quantum superposition where he understands the things from previous loops. However, the mechanics of that would simply imply that the loops don't happen linearly, that all universes are doing this at the same time, and that Thanatos would simply understand everything and know every route. There is no, last time I did this, it went a completely different situation. It's in all of the universes in which case this happened, which I have seen all of, it went this way. So I don't buy the urgency or the narrative that this is the first time I'm going through this. And maybe last time it went different, but this time, because if Thanatos is the character that they have set him up to be, he does not experience time linearly.
It could be,
so
yeah.
There's that. Anyway, all time has already happened, and we are merely walking on a linear thread that has been unspooled for us by our perspectives. Let's move on.
Oh, brother, if you must know I was planning on drugging Benson.
Then why the rest of everything?
What?
What could that possibly accomplish?
The less Benson is able to go commit a murder, the better. So you're going to keep him unconscious for longer?
We're not going to have another thing with someone else sleepwalking, are we?
No, Benson doesn't sleepwalk, even with mismatched medication for his species.
I've tried several times.
This is just one of those other details that's really weird is here's bear tranquilizers. The real reason why you sleptwalked on them and it hypnotized you because it to your species.
None of that came through.
That's how narcotics work. What? How is it not coming through? My microphone isn't peaking.
It just keeps cutting out.
Discord is being weird. I'll try to fix this. What I was saying is it's very funny to me that their idea of narcotics is they put you to sleep if they're the right ones for your species. But if they're not the right ones for your species, then it gives you wacky effects like being hypnotizable. And it's like, yeah, I guess technically recreationally some hypnotics are used as sedatives and things like that. And barbiturates and things like that can put you in a hypnotizable state. I don't think the issue is that it's the species that's different. I think the issue is like the dosages and the way you consume them, very weird.
I'm just really confused by the idea that, like, he put the time in to exhaust Benson for an entire week. But they're talking about the idea of Benson defending himself when he wakes up. So why are they actively, like, just, like, fucking up his health and so on?
Yeah,
but also,
sure.
like, his plan is to just drug him for the prisoner exchange? Then what was the point of the last week of exhausting him? That's, like, not related to that at all. It was just to make him...
I think Thanatos was implying that it was, like, to put him on edge. But I feel like he'd be on edge pretty much no matter what.
Yeah. Maybe it was just to, like, weaken him, I guess, so that he wouldn't actually try to go hunting for anyone. Like, he'd be, like, barely hanging in there. It's odd. What happens if you don't give him the sedation?
Then he shoots the person that shows up in a couple days in an attempt to buy more time. I'm guessing it doesn't go well. Well, I wouldn't be doing it if it did now, would I?
To be honest, I don't know why you do half the things you do.
Have you tried talking to Benson about being trigger happy rather than just jabbing him with some sedatives?
Thanatos turned to me looking thoughtful.
Tell you what, why don't I let you decide, Dave? No, it's the one thing he's allergic to. You're gonna give him hives.
No. Me? Well, obviously I don't want anyone injected with anything. That sounds awful. It didn't just sound awful. With my hand going to my neck, I knew all too well what it was like firsthand.
Fine, no sedation this time, but you'll lead the talk with him when he comes to.
Which is in how long?
He's going to be out for the rest of the day. Well, I guess it's fine to let him sleep. He clearly needs it. What should we do about the bed, though? He'll be fine here. You can decide what to do with him once he wakes up.
I don't feel right leaving him here.
It's a couch, Sal. It's fine.
Then take him somewhere. Either way, I have to chat with Dave.
Hoss, do you mind giving me a hand moving, Benson?
I guess he's too heavy for Sal, but not heavy enough for Dave.
Yeah, I don't... I mean, you don't want to drop him, I guess, if they're gonna go upstairs.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. No, but is it fine? We're just gonna leave Dave with the rat?
I've been with him most of the time. It's fine, I'm used to it.
Not exactly what we were getting at, but we'll check in later.
There was no we, that was your comment. We left the side room as Sal carefully carried Benson out. The two of them headed upstairs, presumably to find a bed, while Thanatos guided me towards the basement. To get a password? Or to prime a future password? I had an idea as to why he'd bring me downstairs, and it became clear the further he led me forward. The basement was cold, and we stopped in the middle of the room with lights off. So...
I've been thinking a bit.
About?
Something you said this morning. About the thing you remembered.
I thought you said it was a dream.
That's the thing, isn't it? It has to be.
So?
Let me ask you a question. You been feeling alright after I put you under last time?
Last time? When exactly was the last time? He went to reply but stopped short, thinking about it.
maybe it didn't happen this time around. The thing in the lab is what I was talking about.
If it helps, I feel fine as far as I can be.
No headaches or seeing things that aren't there.
Not that I know of.
And you're sure?
Thanatos climbed down from my shoulder and wandered over to his room, and I followed behind. Why are we in here?
I want to check something.
I watched as he wandered over to the input panel, looking up to it. His attention went to the door next. The whole time he stayed quiet. What are you checking?
I've been left wondering how different dreams and memories are again.
Once again?
We've had this conversation before, but let me catch you back up. When I look through my memories, it's like seeing everything on a single line. A lot of big gaps from where I'm offline.
Okay. Are the gaps always the same, or?
No. Always start the same, but things have been wildly different after I've made...
Huh, it just cut out after different. The rest of the
different
sentence
after
is gone.
I've made it known I remember. I think Discord is just dying because my voice is coming through on voice meter, and I don't even have audio. I don't have audio suppression on.
So I was gonna say, it sounds like it often comes across as being weird shit that Discord does when it's trying to like save you from weird audio or something.
Sure, that's very odd because I don't have that feature turned on. I have it.
Yeah.
Give me a moment. I'll just rejoin the call.
This program gets worse every year somehow. The more it's monetized more every year. They're charging people more and getting more and more subscriptions onto Discord, and it somehow seems like it's worse at being a voice program every year. Like the weird bugs we're having constantly that I feel like didn't happen before. Weird. And we're in a boosted server that's supposed to be even better.
Yeah, might be worthwhile to look into other options. You know, I know there's some web options that are slightly better than Discord, but we could always use whatever it's called, TeamSpeak, like we had set up.
Like we're WoW Raiders in 2004.
I remember my master. I remember watching him die. Yeah, it's Dave's dad. That's my guess. I remember what he asked of me and when he gave me my name. I remember how I was back then compared to how I am now.
He turned to face me, shaking his head.
But there are gaps, noticeable gaps where there shouldn't be. But there are other times where the pattern breaks and I awaken somewhere else long after the vacation has ended.
I don't think I get it.
When the pattern breaks, how do I know I'm not looking at a memory but instead a dream?
Do you sleep? Do robots dream of electric sheep? You're a robot, so I'd assume you need to recharge at some point.
It's not the same as sleeping, but it may as well be. And so I'm forced to once again consider what these things are. Are they dreams or memories?
Well, if they're memories, they'd be traumatic, right? That's what you said this morning.
That was only this morning?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm serious.
So am I. Do the same rules apply to you or not?
Of course they don't. I'm the vault itself, not someone coded into it. Is there a difference?
I gestured at him, confused. Well, he means like he's the vault, not a person that the vault's interacting with.
Yes, I mean I understood that. I'm just saying,
we
like,
generate passwords
terms-
and memories via trauma, but for him, it's like he just knows his entire
yeah,
continuity.
he just knows them. Yeah, my point was more: is there a difference between your memories coming to you because you're traumatized, or does it matter that you're the vault or not? It seems like either way, you're still just remembering things because of the morphogenetic field, right?
I don't think so. I think that he genuinely just remembers everything from his perspective.
Yes.
which is not
I
how
understand that.
it happens to anybody
Oh,
else.
you mean he has like a full view of all events, unlike
Yeah,
Dave,
I think
who's
he's
getting, like,
Dr.
flashes.
Manhattan,
Gotcha.
but except he's like a cross-dimensional Dr. Manhattan. Like he knows every single
Yeah.
full extent of his own life from his perspective
Yeah.
of every timeline he's had so far. Is how
that
it's
is what I was
written.
just saying as an aside. Is that if he's Dr. Manhattan, he's experienced everything all at once.
Yeah.
Then that doesn't actually line up with the thing it just said.
Yeah, I think that when he gestures at the idea that there's something that doesn't make sense, that doesn't line up with the other stuff, that's just somewhere else, like it's discontinuous with everything else. I think he
Yeah.
might be referring to, in some way, experiencing the equivalent of when we have the dream about the good place, where it's like, literally the list of people who are alive and dead are inverted. This is impossible. How is this scene
Yeah.
happening? And I think he's experienced some version of that and is trying to figure out if it's just like some kind of machine dream, or if he's genuinely experiencing something that it breaks the continuity.
Yeah, gotcha.
I gestured at him, confused.
We're gonna find out it's all a simulation. It's just Florencia playing The Sims.
What? I can't believe this game was a visual novel the whole time. So how did you not know if something's a dream? You seem to just know everything, so why is this tripping you up? Besides, if we've already had this conversation before, why are you wasting my time with it now?
It's not a waste. I'm legitimately confused.
You're a robot.
Whose memories seem to show signs of tampering. Not this time, but in previous loops.
Well, don't look at me. I don't know how that could happen.
There's one thing that it could be, but the only one that would know is my master.
And that is?
He asked me to delete parts of my memory for him.
And you just do that?
Of course. From the looks of things, he's only wanted small sections removed, but I don't know why.
Then ask him?
It's not that easy. Talking with him lately has been difficult. With you lot all around, finding the time to slip away and have a bit of a chat is hard.
We do not keep you busy.
No, you are gone more often than you are here.
I'm guessing because you don't want us following?
Pretty much.
I sighed. My head was hurting, but not from anything he'd done to me. I was just stressed from things earlier and confused about what he was getting at. That's what I told myself anyway.
Which leads us back to this check I want to do.
Which is?
Get comfortable.
I couldn't get the words out of my mouth before a sound assaulted my ears. A high enough pitch that I felt myself black out. I felt myself lose
Very helpful.
consciousness.
Very helpful to tell someone to get comfortable so they don't hurt themselves and then immediately flashbang them.
Yeah, he keeps doing this. Cover your ears right before... Huh? Just over and over again. It's at this point, it's basically a character trait of Thanatos. He's just a prick in this specific way. I felt myself lose consciousness long before I hit the floor, and internally I wondered how hard I'd land on the floor. That's a lot of consciousness you're having while losing consciousness.
Yeah.